call us, text us. Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM, the Wake Up Guyana Show. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want to say good day. Plenty good day to the people of Guyana. It's a wonderful day. Just 10 days more, Christmas Day. And it is all in the season. Traffic. It's a nightmare on Lombard Street again this morning. And just if you can avoid that area there, just please do avoid it. There seems to be some kind of bottleneck around the Parliament area there. I'm not sure what is happening, but just stay away from that area if you're traveling from the East Bank of Demerara. And today is going to be a very packed day. We have a big newspaper here today. Your favorite newspaper, the Guyana's largest selling daily, the Kaieteur newspaper here of December the 16th. As of just about 1:30 or so thereabouts, we are going to be joined by officials as normal. Every Wednesday they've been coming here trying to change the way that people perceive the state-owned Guyana Power and Light Inc. And they've been coming onto the program and they've been working with us here to bring some answers to some of the big issues that are people are dealing with when it comes to GPL. And today we have some different folks here. These are from the metering service manager, the division, and so there we're going to have Wayne Watson and a couple of the others who are going to be coming onto the program. But I should be telling you while before we headed into the newspaper that tomorrow there is going to be a big show right here on Kaieteur News, and this is on the Guyana's Oil and You program. I'm being told that it's 1920, and Vice President Bar Jagdio is going to be there. I think Mr. Glenn Lal, will be there also. So it's Glenn Lal. There's going to be something that I'm going to be dropping everything, sit back with the popcorn and get ready, because this is it's where Glenn has a lot of questions. By Jagdio wants to answer them. And it is going to be all happening right here on Kaieteur Radio tomorrow at 19:20 on the Guyana's Oil and News show, in which Kiana will be hosting that program there, and both Glenn and Bar Jagdio is going to be there. So that's going to be very interesting. Many questions are being asked at the moment, and it's good to have the authorities and the powers that be and the politicians and our leaders to come on board to answer those very big questions. This oil and gas is not going to go away, and the more we talk about it, the more it is going to we are going to get some answers and maybe stop us from entering into the realm of what other countries have been entering into. There's been many lessons to be learned there. So we're not going to talk about here also is what has happened, some of the big news or some of the big stories making the news today. It was a very tragic case last evening. Dutch citizen who would have come to Guyana years ago and settled there as part of the missionary program there along the highway. He and his wife were coming out, along the Linden Highway there, not too far from where they're living, and they ended up in an accident. Both died. Last evening, going home just after about 10 or so, 11 or so, there about a car heading, it looked as if it was heading to Georgetown, hit into the median. This is where the Houston Magdum junction, if you want to call it that part in which you could turn into the Gaffurs. There's that median there, and this car hit straight into it. A woman is dead. Up in Berbice there, a cop has run into some problems there, hit into a motorcyclist bike, and that motorcyclist is in hospital. The cop says he was above his limit. They were trying to stop him, but he hit into him from behind. Not sure, the family are claiming otherwise. They said that the policeman was wrong. So there's two sides to every story, or three or four sides to every story, as one man would have said before, and as judges and magistrates would tell you, more than one side to every story. And so we're going to be paying attention to that as we develop it. But we're going to head very quickly because we want to get a couple of things out of the way, and there's some big stories here that we should be talking about here in the newspaper here of December the 16th, 2020. Kaieteur newspaper against lives selling daily. Latam police commander intercepted by GRA with over 30 cases of liquor. He claims he was bringing them out from Latam for family and staff members, and they found over 30 cases of whiskey. Somebody was going to have a party, weren't they? And so the question is, GRA is saying, sources are saying that they received a tip-off, and this, if you know the Linden Latham trail there, if you're coming through that road there, there's some checkpoints, and so Kurupakari and some other areas. So did he pass that area there? Were there customs there? We don't know. What we do know is that GRA was waiting for him up in Linden, and they stopped this police pickup. It is a Region 9 police pickup, Region 9 base police pickup. There's a logo and the van and so on. And stopped him, and they went to check the vehicle on the back in the tray of that pickup. It was very, very clear that there were several cases of liquor, and that is a Blackstone, I think they call it. So that's an interesting story there. I'm sure you could have one or two, but 30 cases plus. And this morning they were supposed to have the commissioner's breakfast in which President Ali was going to be there. What did this commander say to his boss? We don't know. What we do know is that the Kaieteur News main headline today is talking about something that is very, very important. We've been talking about it. This is the laws when it comes to the oil. And Guyana's laws do not allow oil regulator to act independently. What this story is very, very simply talking about is that Gildarie, who's working at Kaieteur News, he does not have, he's not independent. He is, and that's a bad analogy, but just get the idea. GGMC, right? Or EPA, right? EPA could be ordered by a politician not to act on a particular case, and EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency. It's a regulator, and they could be ordered to act not to act on a particular case by a politician because they're not independent. This hypothetically speaking. So in this particular case, the oil regulator, there is indications that the laws as it is does not allow the oil regulator to act independently. And if you really want a country to move forward, you must have our people who are in charge, who are supposed to be monitoring for us, must be able to do their jobs free and fair, or free away from fear when it comes to any kind of interference. That should not be, and that's what the story is say. And it does not compel adherence to the industry norms, and the IDB is pointing this out. So this is a very, very serious story. This IDB is not an ordinary entity. It is the Inter-American Development Bank. And so very quickly, missionary killed in highway smash up, and we would have been talking about that. 75 years old, 79 years old, and husband and wife, and they ended up in the lane of a truck. Nobody knows what happened on the highway last evening. This was like Linden Highway. Both have died. Christopher Ram resigned from NISL board, and you could recall he was very critical leading up to the elections. Here it is in protest now. While it's not fully confirmed, he has resigned from the NISL board, state-owned NISL. Christopher Ram, an advocate as well as an accountant, a lawyer, was being very critical in a number of things there. So the story would have to come out sometime or the other. St. Ignatius man killed in Region 8 mining pit accident. St. Ignatius, that's Region 9, right next to Lethem there. He would have gone to work in Region 8, pit cave in. And these are not stories that I feel very happy about. Every time there's an industrial accident, it means that somebody was not adhering to safety measures and features and so on that they would have had, especially when you're in the gold bush and so on, when you're in these big pits and so on, and you don't know about what you're doing. You could be spraying at the foundation with these big hoses, these jet hoses, and you're eating away the foundation. Well, you know what happens when you eat at the foundation. You would not be able to do anything that is going to happen afterwards, because when those wall of mud comes tumbling down, there's very little place you could run. And he was covered. 20 years old. I hate to see things, where it is that our young people lose their life, maybe because of carelessness on behalf of some supervisor or owners. Prison chief sent on leave. We were talking about this lad in Samuels, have accumulated leave, been sent on it, but his tenure there has been very stormy. Kanji mom admits to beating, dumping child and reporting her missing, and this story is developing. There's good banana in East Kanji area there. The Kanji mom, after questioned about how this girl ended up in the swamp, she admitted that the kid was playing, and she got angry with her. Her dad was supposed to pick her up, and so at the end of the day, she admitted that I beat the kid, and I left her on the mango tree. I didn't throw her in any swamp. Her body was found in a swamp, or she was there unconscious, and her grandfather found her after the search party was launched. But this is a very shocking case, one of the many cases in recent time that we are seeing, and there's something when it comes to the people that we have in this country. Maybe it's a lack of education, and this is very, very cold what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing the lack of education. What I'm just saying, I'm looking at the faults, at the causes, and it could be a variety of things when it comes to why people do certain things. This morning, a man who would have pleaded guilty, I can't remember his age, pleaded guilty for killing this Charleston guy, and he was in court, and he pleaded guilty to manslaughter instead of murder. And he says yes to the family. I'm really, really sorry. I know the pain that you're going through. Could you forgive me in your hearts? He was sentenced to 15 years. But here's the story. We need to look at the causes of why people commit crime, and when we look at that, we could be able to stop it in its core if we understand that crime, poverty, and a whole bunch of other stuff, situation, single parents, a whole bunch of stuff comes together that contribute towards why people do things, why they do the things the way that they do it, and so on. And so we need to start looking at that. And when we start looking at that, we should also be looking why we should not be poor and things like that, and why is it that we have this beautiful country of ours, and we should be ensuring that our politicians and the powers that be understand that we need a fair deal on everything, not only on oil, but our backyard with our natural resources. But oil is a big thing, because just put it this way, if you have 9 billion barrels, and for every billion barrel, or every barrel, we could get $1 out of that. That's $9 billion. That's an insignificant amount. You could understand within the last year or so, we have like about 150, maybe less than $200 million from this oil alone. When you're talking 9 billion barrels that you're looking at. So we need to start waking up and, like I've always said, smell the coffee, because when you're sitting down there, sitting on your hands, doing nothing, but you want everybody to fight the battles for you, let's start waking up. I'm trying to revive what our ancestors, they had some fighting spirits on one part of the divide there. and they fought for their rights. They fought for better conditions on the plantations there. You know your history, you know a little bit that, and there were many things that they did very quietly, that really put a stop to that plantation kind of mentality. So we go on. Drunk ministry drive in custody after hitting on salesman. He was drunk across the river there, Plantain Walk area there. Hit the guy down. A guy who was walking across the road. When tested the driver, it's a human services. He was above the legal limit. He was drinking. So you know when you drink and drive, what happens there? Agricultural residents concerned over proposed chemical warehouse. EPA says no impact assessment required. 2 months later, Jagdeer yet on a promise to release oil and gas permit. But tomorrow he's going to come here, and I presume questions are going to be asked of him for him to answer. Yesterday was very important. Presidents and the former presidents and the current president would have met, with the exception of David Granger, who said he wanted to see the agenda for us before he turns up. Well, 3 presidents or former presidents did turn up to meet with their finale, and among other things, they talk about the constitution, electoral reform, and they said it should be people driven. In essence, what they're saying there, it is not the government who dictates what should be changes to the electoral laws, neither to the constitution. It should be the people, have consultations with them. That's in essence what they're saying. Very quickly, we run through this paper here. The people of Guyana must wake up and realize that they're filthy rich. There's a message from Kaieteur News here that's coming out every single day, talking about what our people should pay attention to. The people of Guyana must wake up and realize they're filthy rich. The people of Guyana must understand, not tomorrow, but now, that politicians work for them. The people of Guyana must understand that the shareholders in the wealth of this country, the people of Guyana must know they cannot play with the future of the children and generations to come. People of Guyana must understand that staying silent and watching their wealth being stolen is not an option. Wake up, stand up, speak up now. So very, very good. Jagdeer, okay, we did talk about that. Agricultural resident concerned over proposed chemical warehouse. EPA says no impact assessment required. President Ali Granger has opened invitation to meetings, and they are going to be meeting every quarter. This is the president and ex-president, former president, and you would have seen they're all talking. The former president mulled tougher racial hostility act, and this is if you believe you want to use race to divide our people. They're saying we should get tougher in that, and this is the kind of language that I want to talk about. The former presidents also would have discussed border security, local content, and other critical issues, talking about the region and what's happening there. And 95 long-serving Gaisuko employees honored. We go down into our favorite newspaper there. Let me see here. Former Finance Minister Kaula Sar named GRA chairman. And this is Sesnarayan Kaula Sar and iPad's Ramesh Prasad. Good young man. I know him from iPad. We would have had him in room 592. Ramesh Prasad, he is the chief executive officer of iPad, and he has been named the NIS chair. I would love to have a session with him right here on radio to talk about how NIS could improve itself. And GRA, of course, we find so many things. Got to talk about GRA and some of those taxes, you know. People have been complaining heavily about it. Cumberland man dies after motorcycle collision. You know, I'm not sure what is happening on the road out there. Is it a set of crazy people? We would have seen and heard about some of the things that is happening on the roadways. I would have seen. But within the last couple of days, it seems as if we seem to be in a big hurry to get wherever we're going. And it doesn't matter if you got to hit down anybody along the way. And it's so sad that this gentleman here was hit by another motorcycle. It looked like a CBR, one of those big bikes, hit from behind. He fell in the road. He died. The other man is in the hospital, you know. Very sad. There's these beautiful pictures of the seawall. When the last time you passed by the seawall, the Kingston seawall there, and you see the beautiful works that has been done there. I'm seeing some photographs here of some things. They put some nice colored bricks on the seawall there. They do some sprucing up, planting, and you know the entire area there is looking very, very beautiful. And so take a walk there if you can, and just to have a look at it and see what's happening. And of course, the project is being led by First Lady Arya Ali, and Arya Ali is also seems to be making the news in the paper again here. White pudding for the lady. Lady stopped at some lady named let me see, Auntie Zorina, Montrose Public Road. I gotta big up this woman. I think I did buy some white pudding from her. Some people said that's a sin to eat white pudding versus black pudding, but I like white pudding. And she got a very good sour there. I like the pepper. And the first lady seemed to be a long-standing customer, and she didn't had any qualms about stopping and buying at the roadside. You know, some of these things could be turned into tourist attraction, like how M&M used to be back in its days. I hope that they're still keeping those standards with the egg ball and the cane juice. That's something I really loved. Flushing killed, remanded for killing Triumph Man. Teacher jailed for sexually assaulted student. It appeals conviction. I did a couple of family did call me on this issue here with this teacher at a city school, private school, charged with sexual assault. Apparently, robbed his private and they got private and then squeezed her in her or very private parts. So a student, teacher, he was jailed 3 years. The family and friends are saying that the judge, the magistrate, erred because she showed bias, and they're appealing that matter right now. Cop now slapped with manslaughter charge in Mandela shooting, and so many cases here with this. So this newspaper is packed today, and of course, youth panelists support call for aggressive data collection to address issues. And this is the big forum that the Ethnic Relations Commission would have been hosting the last 2 days. It's very important that we come out and we'd have to interview the ERC to find out what are some of the big takeaways from hosting this thing here. Did we make much progress? Because let me tell you something. I would have loved to see our politicians, not only stakeholders, but politicians head to head discussing ERC, ethnic relations, and a whole bunch, anything to do with our ethnic relations in Guyana. This is something, before I close my eyes, that we should see togetherness, one purpose for this country as we move forward. I know I'm talking a lot today, but I'm very passionate about what is happening in this country. And it has nothing to do with how far you go in school. It does not have anything to do with how much money you have or what position that you have in life. It has to do specifically with where do you see yourself, where do you see your children, where do you see your grandchildren, where do you want to see this country for the next 20, 30 years going forward. We have so much natural resources in this place, so much fish. Well, I hear there's a story coming out with the fish now. Stay tuned, and you're going to hear about what is happening with the fish situation. A lot of people like fish, the bangameri, and the caress, and the snapper, and the gilback, and so on. And of course, if you're in for sea bobbins and prawns, these are things. There seems to be some trouble looming on the horizon, and the fishers are complaining bitterly about that. But stay tuned. As Kaieteur News bring you those developments, you would be able to hear about it. But we should pay attention, keep your eyes on the ball. When it comes to your natural resources, you're going to wake up one morning and it's all gone. Some things are already gone, and so we got to pay attention. When people comes into your place, they're going to woo you, they're going to woo the people, they're going to woo your representatives, and they're going to offer them things. And then they're going to take away everything, and then you're going to wake up and say, why didn't I do that? Why did I allow somebody else to come do it and then rob me? These are the kind of things that we should be paying attention to. It is just about 1:26 p.m. and we will be joined very shortly by some officials from GPL, including for the folks as in charge of the metering section. And we have Wayne Watson. I've known Wayne Watson for a very long time now at GPL, and which he's very serious. These are the people that used to be in charge of a department that used to, if you're stealing current, he's the guy that you are going to be wanting to talk to. And I have some very serious questions to ask him today. I'm going to want to surprise him. I'm not going to say, but I know that at least one of them in the studio already getting ready to prepare to be onto the show very shortly. And we're going to be entertaining calls as normal, of course. We are hoping that eventually next week is going to have the big bosses back again to tell us where they are. People would have been complaining to them a number of issues. I hope they have been able to fix it because you can't can't just take people questions and so on and not answer them. So they've been very accommodating, and I'm hoping that GT&T, GWI, Digicel, and of course eNetworks has promised to come onto the program here to talk about their expansion program too. I'm interested in how this country go forward. I'm interested in to see whatever works that our people are doing. Of course, I'm more interested in saying hello to our people right across Guyana who are joining us today. I know many of you on the road, many of you in the stores and so on, and you are doing what you're doing. But I hope that we're keeping you company. I hope that our words are uplifting to you so you could be able to go forward with a very positive frame of mind. There's no such thing. There's nothing that's better than having a frame of mind that is positive so we could be able to meet the world, meet the challenges, and do things. It gives us that power, that strength to overcome any challenges, any hurdles on the road as we walk, as we go forward. Remember, I'm going to be reading something to you in a very short while. We only pass this way once in life. Talking to Glenn the other night, he loved quotes and he was telling us, and some beautiful quotes came out from him. Want to share that with you. But in a very short while also, the lines are going to be open. 6222222. You could send us those texts to that number. Do not call us on that number. Send the text to that number. And you could also call us on 226-7453, 226-7453. Let me see if there's anything that you need to know before we move on to our business at hand. We will be taking a break right now, an ad break, and when we come back, our people in the studio here will be GPL official representatives. They will be joining us, and we will be entertaining them with some questions, development, and what's it that you need to know. If you have issues with GPL, now's the time to ask them so they could be able to take those questions or maybe get back to you. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Do not touch those dials. This is the Wake Up Guyana Show with your host, Leonard Gildarie.
Imagine up to $500,000 cash in your hand. Shop at Singer from now to December 21 and win your share of $2 million. Spend $20,000 or more and be one of 4 winners of $250,000 each. Plus, 2 lucky shoppers will each win $500,000. Get cash in your hand for the Christmas at Singer. With 6 months, no interest, and up to 36 months to pay. Singer at home worldwide.
Nice up your home for Christmas at Singer. Spend $20,000 or more between now and December 21st and be one of 4 winners of a Singer 55-inch Ultra HD television. Singer at home worldwide.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hi, yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana Show right here on Kaieteur Radio. This is your host, Leonard Gildarie, and we're coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio right here in Charlestown, Georgetown. It's a beautiful day out there, and I want to tell you that we're coming to you live also on 99.1 if you're in Essequibo and Demerara, and in Berbice it's 99.5. If you also want to catch us and you're overseas, well, the people know where they have to go to. It's Kaieteur Radio Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube, and you could also get us on KaieteurNewsOnline.com, and there's that icon there, that radio icon. Just press it and you're going to hear beautiful songs coming through your radio, whatever means that you're catching us on. And we're going to be telling you a couple of things. As always, we have something to say to you. I want to say season's greetings. It's just about 10 days thereabout. We conquered on Christmas Day, but it's not only Christmas Day. So the whole season is the shopping, the cleaning. We're talking about the dabbing your bottom house. And we have with us here today in the studio very senior official within the whole scheme of things when it comes to the Guyana Power and Light. And his name is Wayne Watson. And Wayne Watson is the metering service manager at the GPL. And what exactly does he do? What does that really mean? What is he in charge of? in a very short while, we are going to be telling you about what exactly Wayne does, Mr. Watson. I know him as well, Mr. Watson. I've been calling him from time to time, torment him about when people complain to us. And today we're going to torment him again because, you know, GPL is always in the hot seat. It's one of the big companies that handles over, I think it's about 170,000 customers across Guyana. I remember that because when they have the public sessions with the Public Utilities Commission, that's a regulator that is in charge of the utilities companies in Guyana, and GPL has to appear before the Public Utilities Commission every single year to report to them how many blackouts they had, what have they done to reduce its losses. These are commercial and technical losses, and you know they have about 30% or so, 29 to 28 to 30% or so are the figures, and they're trying to reduce those losses. But 15% thereabout is $15 out of every $100 is lost due to theft of electricity. I want that to sink in. Let me repeat that. $15 out of every $100 is lost. It's estimated to loss because of theft of electricity. So you, the consumer, have to pay for that. So if you know of anybody that's stealing, GPL is the place that you have to complain to. So we are tuned in right now to the Wake Up Guyana show, and I want to say, Mr. Wayne Watson, good day to you, sir, and welcome to Kaieteur Radio. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine, sir.
All right. Has it been a very busy season for you?
Yes, sir. Very busy.
All right. What exactly does the metering service manager do at GPL?
Well, the responsibility of the metering service manager is to ensure that all application for metering related activities are completed within a prescriptive time. I mean, minor meters, major meters, or addressing emergency cases where consumers' meters would have malfunctioned for whatever reasons.
And so, are you the department that also would look into applications for meters and so on?
Applications are raised at the customer service centers within the Demerara, Borby, Essequibo areas.
All right. So based on what we know so far, on my limited knowledge, and you correct me as we go down, the two basic kind of meters. Those are for the domestic users, and the others that GPL they have for the commercial customers or the business customers, as you would know them. I want to ask you, sir, to probably walk us through that and maybe tell us about some new technologies that we have introduced in Guyana via GPL.
As it relates to metering, we have postpaid and prepaid meters. Over the years, we would have introduced a pilot project with the AMI system, which is an advanced metering infrastructure operations. And that project would have encouraged GPL to expand in the near future. The AMI meter basically are meters that can be read remotely, disconnected remotely, reconnected remotely, and also it has other features that will give GPL the luxury and the option of managing, monitoring, and improving customer complaints and services.
Thank you very much for that. And just to let you know, where are we with the AMI? The AMI, and what does AMI stands for?
Advanced Meter Infrastructure. Where we are right now, we're currently installing AMI capable meters. What that means that the meters that we are currently installing, when the company would have reached to a predetermined number, they will then put in the communication infrastructure, and those meters will be readily available or activated to provide that advanced metering operations.
So you haven't done any kind of test phase right now in terms of a pilot project or so to see how it's working?
Yes, we have a pilot project that was introduced in 2013. That pilot project's extended from Avenue of Republic to Vicingin Road, and it's mostly in the business hub. So Regent Street, Robb Street, those areas.
So you could remotely disconnect them.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's very good, and that's good news. So, what in essence, so the GPL, they have the control room there, and they could actually says, you know what, Tom Jones at Lacey Town, at the corner there by Regent and Light Street. I'm just calling these names here, so just forgive me for that. They could disconnect a particular things, not going to the location, but by being in their control operations area there. Now, I think for most of us, Mr. Watson, and we do happen to have another gentleman in the house here today. I want to say good day to him. Let us switch mic 1 second. All right. Could you introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, good afternoon, Guyana. I'm Leon Williams, and I'm the Revenue Protection Manager at Guyana Power.
Revenue Protection Manager. And what does a Revenue Protection Manager do?
Well, basically, what I'm responsible for the department that police GPL system to find where electricity is diverted. Also, we look at identifying meters that are defective, and also we look for persons who might be stealing electricity. Because all of that can result in loss of revenue to GPL. So we look out for those things, and we try to, when we find them, we take steps to recover those lost revenue.
All right, thank you very much. And today we have two. 1 second. Yes, our apologies. We're trying to get all these mics up and running here. But today we do happen to have with us also Chevion Sears and the customer services representative of GPL as well. And we are going to be telling you, we are going to be opening the lines in a very short while. I'm going to ask her to right away wade into things. Why is it important that we talk to people like Mr. Leon Williams and Wayne Watson, Chevion?
Thank you, Gildarie, for having us here. Wayne and Leon, they're critical to the process and they're critical to GPL's operations. Wayne is our metering manager, and he would be the person who's responsible for all things metering, from the procurement process right through to the installation process. And so Wayne has a wealth of knowledge on meter installation, meter defects, and all the other stuff that I may not want to mention at this time for time purposes. But let's talk a little bit about Leon. Leon's responsibility is geared towards ensuring that we recoup our revenue. That is to ensure that all power that we call divert, that is diverted, which is commonly referred to as electricity theft. That Leon would be the person who would ensure that we look into those stuff. Like, for example, over the last 3 weeks, we've been receiving several complaints with regard to my neighbor is stealing electricity. There's several persons in the street stealing electricity. And so Leon would be that person who would man the system, meaning once those reports are received into the system, he would monitor them, send out a crew to ensure that they check and investigate. Once that report is true, we take the necessary actions to, first of all, remove the illegal connections, talk to the customer, try to get them on board legally. Then, if that customer, in most cases, they will go and put up back the network, the illegal network. So we'll have to take those persons to court. There's a court process whereby once somebody's caught stealing or diverting electricity and we have the necessary evidence, we file the court case through our legal department, and we effect the necessary process to prosecute. Most times people are fined, And so that is something that for the new year, through our the ARMS, which is the Board of Directors, Executive Management, will want to see us having our own court to actually prosecute people because of the density of this issue. And a lot of people, it's hard for the court process to actually take it through. So maybe if GPL has their own court, we'll be able to deal with these in a more effective manner. But people must know that electricity theft is dangerous and they should desist, because oftentimes when people divert or commonly referred to as steal electricity, it hurts not only that person who's stealing but the neighbor. Why? Okay, if I'm stealing electricity and I'm at the closer end to the network, I'll be getting maximum coverage. But then if I'm at the end, I'll be experiencing fluctuation and all these things. And in addition to that, you could lose lives and property from electricity theft. So I will urge consumers who are not on the grid legally to get on the grid legally. If you don't have all the necessary paperwork, we have something called a special contract, and we could provide a service to you using that special contract. But you should come on the grid legally. Remember, if you're using electricity, you should pay for it. And therefore, the right thing to do is to get legal power.
Thank you very much for that. And you tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. Your host, Leonard Gildarie. And today we have with us GPL once again, the State-owned Guyana Power and Light Inc. And what we're talking, we've decided to ramp things up a little. We're talking to Wayne Watson, Metering Service Manager, and Leon Williams. And Leon Williams happened to be, the part with when you got to, if you steal electricity, this is a man that is basically in charge of that. And we're going to talk a little on the courts right now. How many cases do we have? Just to understand that GPL is not just taking this thing where they come and they pull out the wires or so. You could be charged and placed before the court. How many cases do we have so far? Do we know?
At this point in time, we don't have much cases before the courts, but we have plans to ensure that we take perpetrators to the court and prosecute them.
And we also need to look at if we were to put a figure, what GPL loses per year in terms of electricity theft. Could you be able to do that?
I won't be able to give you a figure in terms of dollar value, but it's about overall losses is about 26%, and when it comes to the non-technical loss, which
electricity theft,
which is from electricity theft, it's about 17%.
17%, and that's gone up from what we would have known about the 15% thereabouts.
Right. Well, 17, between 15 and 17, thereabout, around that figure.
And very quickly, do we know which are the areas in Guyana which I know that we would have discussed it? South Georgetown was the area that we would have spoken about when they would have done an assessment or have an idea as to where the theft is big time. Where are the areas in Guyana? Let's look at Berbice. Where are the areas in Berbice that people steal electricity a lot?
Well, Angais Avenue is one area that people hook up on the network. But I want to bring one point to bear. It is not just the residential area that we are concerned about, but also all the various customer segment, because they all contribute to whether it be electricity theft or electricity diversion, but they all contribute to the loss of revenue that GPL suffers. And I don't want to pinpoint an area because I don't want to, put any one area under the microscope. But in my assessment, this problem is well distributed across Guyana in terms of communities, in the business sector, residential area, and so forth. So it is an issue that is, I would consider as widespread across the country. The issue of persons or non-customer that are hooking up to the network, those sometimes are easy to detect. Mm-hmm. But when we have an industry, for example, who have person with technical expertise that can do things that make it difficult to GPL to detect electricity theft, that it becomes more challenging for the company. And that is why we have technical experts within the department, in electrical engineers and other technical persons. And we use various type of devices to go out there and to detect where there are such diversion. Also, within that segment, that is the commercial industrial segment, those are the customers who most often would take GPL to the courts when we try to recover our revenue, and they challenge us in many ways. Sometimes they challenge us with the claim that they were not diverting electricity, and sometimes they will challenge us with how we go about doing our estimation for recovering of revenue, and sometimes on both fronts. So, and that in itself is very, very challenging. But the easy part, right, in terms of detection, is the residential area. The challenging aspect with the residential area is that when you attempt to remove network in those areas, you find that there are always the social political issues that would creep up, because sometimes people would want to say that it's political, because if you go to remove illegal connection in one area, depending on the demographics in the area, they may say that it's political, and so that has its own challenges as well. So all in all, in terms of dealing with this issue of electricity theft within GPL, it is very challenging, both on the technical fronts when it comes to those who are engaged in sophisticated means of diverting electricity, and on the other front, that is the social political front, it is challenging to go and remove those connections.
I want to stop right here and ask you the question, because me as a tax-paying person, and I hold that very, very dear to me. And me as a person paying GPL every single month. In fact, my family in the month of December would pay for December and January, I think, in advance. So we don't have to go through that. And not many families could do that. Some families just barely live from month to month. But I want to ask you, would it not be a good idea if GPL is really suffering for revenues and so on, to really take the bull by the horns and have an aggression or an aggressive thing? Because year after year, we keep turning up at these public hearings, and we're hearing 15% loss, people $15 out of every $100 being lost, and now you hear $17 that it's actually gone up, the kind of theft that we're looking at. Why is the GPL taking a more aggressive mode when it comes to tackling this issue here? Forget that they're looking at the political and thing. It's a simple, it comes back to the basic, which is, in my view, it's a simple case of theft. I understand what you're saying, but why can't we? There's a company that's being run, it's state-owned, yes, but it's a matter of dollars and cents.
Gildarie, if I may, I agree with your question and the proposal. GPL will be taking a more proactive role come 2021. I believe because of COVID, during this year we were unable to really be effective in terms of going out there because of the fact that we wanted to protect our field staff, we wanted to protect the citizenry of our country. And so we would have taken a little more laid-back approach. However, in 2021, we'll have an aggressive strategy to address loss reduction, because it is critical for us to collect our revenue, like you rightfully said, and it's also dangerous for us to allow people to steal electricity, because when a child's life is taken because of electricity theft, or somebody lose a business, you hear, oh, it's illegal connection caused this, and then GPL is in the forefront, whereby people criticize our company. But going forward in 2021, we have a menu or of strategies to deal with electricity theft, deal with metering, because there's a lot of issues with regard to metering. We have defective meters out there. We have metering issues that customers would report, and therefore we're gonna have a very aggressive plan to deal with customer services issues, metering issues, loss reduction, and so forth. Even we have a lot of projects coming on stream, as well as operational plans. And so in 2021, you'll see GPL in a new light, and we would want to encourage our citizens to be ambassadors for GPL, assist us in the process, because it's a partnership. And so we're working for you, you assisting us, and GPL could become the world-class utility that we're looking for and we aim to achieve. So together as a concerted effort, we'll be working with our customers as well as potential customers to address a lot of the issues.
I got two questions to ask you, and there's a comment from people who are actually tuned in here on Facebook. They're asking, does GPL have an online payment method? Can somebody who's living overseas pay the bill for property in Guyana online? There's one. And two, who pays for the street lights that's in front on the road, and these lights that are there?
Excellent question. With regard to the online payment method, we're currently working with our customer services manager, Divisional Director Customer Services, Ms. Rhonda Lafargue. I hope you're listening. So we'll be working to have our customers pay online. We're currently developing the app for that. So very soon, don't worry, you'll be able to pay online. With regard to the other question,
okay, who pays? Who pays for those lights that are outside?
Right. Well, street lighting comes under the Ministry of Public Works, and so but we have the NDCs also who are responsible, and so the customers within the NDCs, they pay for the street lighting, or that is subsidized by the government. So it's a twofold arrangement. So not necessarily a person like how you go in and pay. I pay for my electricity bill. A customer coming in and pay for street lighting, but that's covered under the NDCs and Ministry of Public Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. And before we move on,
Public Works.
Yeah. Before we move on, I have just one question here before we open the lines. 6222222 is where you would text your messages to, or you could call us on 226-7453. I want to ask you,
Gildarie, before you go on, I just want to put a little bit of information in there. We want to encourage our customers to sign up for e-billing. Because of COVID, you should sign up for e-billing. Don't try to get into the offices. Sign up for e-billing, and you'll be able to access your bills online, where you'll be able to check your account balances. If you have an inquiry, you could check online and so forth, right? So remember to sign up for e-billing. Register for e-billing. So you go to our website, there's a tab there for e-billing. Register, get registered, and you'll get your e-bills via your email, and that you'll be able to save. So you could archive your bills, and also it's good for the environment, because you're talking about low carbon development strategies and so forth. But let's get into that. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that. I want to ask this is for Mr. Leon Williams and Wayne Watson. If you guys could tell us we're talking about 17% there, 15 to 17% in electricity theft. And this is from my consumption. In the whole scheme of things, if 100 watts are being stolen, how much is being stolen out of that 100 watts by the commercial customers?
Well, I wouldn't say watts, but rather the watt hour, which is the energy.
Right.
So if we're talking about 100 watt hours, which we call 100 units for simplicity, that would be 15 units.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if we saying 100 watt hours are being stolen. Out of that, how much of that is coming, or it could be blamed on the commercial customers, the culprits?
Well, we haven't broken it down to that extent, but generally the commercial customer is about 65% of our customer base.
Uh-huh.
And when you do your calculation, I figure that it would be just about the same amount
Uh-huh.
of the loss that they will be contributed.
So those are the people that you really got to target to, the big commercial customers.
Commercial customers.
And what's the difference between, I think you use the word diversion, Mr. Watson, diversion as well as theft? What's the difference?
Diversion is really a polished name for tampering or bypass or theft.
Uh-huh.
So basically what diversion really reflect to is the meter is not recording the true consumption of the consumer. So you
So there's
literally
another line.
yeah. So you just say okay, they're diverting, or you can say they're thieving. So you just say divert.
All right, we ain't gonna get that. But what we do know is that our people, I'm sure out there, you have many questions, and you want to talk about metering, you want to talk about your neighbors stealing, and so on. Let's be let's make the calls very, very short. We want to get in as many people as possible. So let's start right now. 226-7453. You could send us those text messages to 62222, and they are gonna take these complaints down, and then GPL is gonna get on to you directly. So get ready. You gotta give us some numbers and so on, so they could be able to get back to you. I think Mr. Ramtahal last week was here, the deputy CEO, and he did indicate to me that they have looked at a number of complaints and they are addressing them, getting on to the people, and they want to say and report back to the people what they have done based on those complaints. So very quickly, do we have a call online? Oh, we don't happen to have that. So before we move on, that any other comments that you gentlemen would want to
just encourage our prepaid meter customers. If you're experiencing any issue with your prepaid meter, please WhatsApp to us on number. Do you have a pen? Get a pen ready, get a paper. And so you WhatsApp to 699-4882 all of your issues or concerns regarding your prepaid meter. Our competent staff will answer you, and if necessary, they'll troubleshoot with you. And if that doesn't work, we'll send one of our technical teams to ensure that we assist you so that you could get that problem resolved. So remember to call, WhatsApp to 699-4882.
Thank you very much. You want to take the break now and then we come back? All right, good afternoon. Callie on the air. Go right ahead. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. You're on to Kaieteur Radio right here on the Wake Up Guyana show.
Okay, I'm getting super fast now, Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm the man from Borbis, Kanshi, Kingsfield.
Yes, sir.
To the GPL people, not me personally, I'm having a problem. Because since I have dealing with GPL since 1990 until now, I never have a problem.
Uh-huh.
The problem what I might foresee, because I hear you all talking about online or whatever. A lot of people talking about online these days being true. Me personally cannot be in that position because I'm a visual impaired person. And people along my area, very few people have online in my area, although you hear in the public utilities talking about this online story. So I'm wondering, when they come on with the advanced technology, hope they remind us and do not left us behind.
Very good question, very good point, because I was about to raise that too. Any other questions I would
Yes,
have?
too.
Yes, go ahead.
You mentioned about stealing of electricity, right? I'm wondering if GPL is aware that they have technical people who are assisting customers to steal electricity.
Are you talking about GPL staffers or just normal
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, the ones who work with them and who know the technical know-how for tamper with meters.
You know of anybody like that?
Me no one going problem. Just direct the question to them if they are aware of that.
Uh-huh.
Because it is happening.
If you know of anybody and they want to talk about it, they don't have to leave any name. But if you know Tom, Dick, and Harry, and so I could give you a number and you could probably call them and they could probably take those things. Would you be willing if there's a case?
Mr. Gidal, let me tell a story.
Uh-huh.
Like a body asked somebody the other day that they don't live in Guyana. You're talking about all kind of things in Guyana, police confidentiality, give police information. You do not, Mr. Gildarie. You're doing a good program. But just to tell you how the ordinary man like us know, you do not get confidentiality. Because many times neighbors report to the police certain instance. You talk about the child care protection, they had one thing that you can call in. And not a day or so after, the same people come and cuss you down.
I hear what you're saying
nothing
there.
like what you call, I mean, you are working towards it. But let me be frank about it. In the hospital, nobody have confidentiality in this country especially. When you talk, it leak out.
Mm-hmm.
It leak out.
I hear what you're saying there, sir. I'm
So
going to
never
ask.
got away.
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
But let they look into it.
I agree with you. I agree
Because
with you.
you
on
have
that.
that is taking place. Also, you have some people when they let me say the time for it to disconnect them. These guys collect money from the people and then or do the disconnection. They collected money from these people. All this thing is happening, Mr. Gildarie, and which is cheating me and you, who is a honest.
All right, I hear what you're
People
saying. We're going to
think
answer it.
that people-
We're going to answer it off here. All right.
Okay then.
Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the season, sir. Bye bye. Until if you don't speak again. So before we head to a break right now, let me tell it to you very, very clearly. You should not be, don't be stupid. Don't be an idiot. I mean, these are very harsh words. Why would you want to pay a bill for your neighbor who's stealing electricity and you know that what they're doing, but you don't want to say anything? And I know what the gentleman is saying there is right on the head of the nail there. He's saying that, you know, you call sometimes and people know that you're the ones that call. And I guess the GPL would have to address that. But staying silent is not an option. Sitting in the hands is not an option. We got to start changing our mentality, changing our culture. And if we have to do it, we got to be very firm about it. We got to make sure that we push, we be very aggressive. Because we know everybody knows in this country what is happening out there. You go to the rum shop and you sit down and you drink a beer, they could tell you who taking bribes, who goes where, who got that lady there, who got a man there, and whatever it is. We don't want to go down that way, but we got to start changing the way we do things. We take a break right now, and when we come back, I think GPL would want to start answering a couple of those questions, what was raised by that gentleman, and maybe some other things too. Stay tuned. Do not touch those dials. You're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio.
Imagine up to $500,000 cash in your hand. Shop at Singer from now to December 21 and win your share of $2 million. Spend $20,000 or more and be one of 4 winners of $250,000 each. Plus, 2 lucky shoppers will each win $500,000. Get cash in your hand for the Christmas at Singer. With 6 months, no interest, and up to 36 months to pay. Singer at home worldwide.
Nice up your home for Christmas at Singer. Spend $20,000 or more between now and December 21st and be one of 4 winners of a Singer 55-inch Ultra HD television. Singer at home worldwide.
This is a GPL public advisory. Main Street Commercial Office only accepting payment transactions. From Monday, December 14th, 2020 to Friday, December 18th, 2020, our Main Street office will only be accepting payment transactions and prepaid token purchases. No walk-in queries will be done. Business will resume as normal on Monday, December 21st, 2020. Our customers are therefore encouraged to use one of our commercial offices or payment agents closest to you. Bill Express, SurePay, Guyana Post Office, commercial banks, Scotiabank, Republic Bank Guyana Limited, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, Demerara Bank, Citizens Bank, and Mobile Money Guyana. GPL regrets any inconvenience this change in operation may cause. However, we remain committed to continuously improving the quality of services offered to our customers. For more information and assistance, call the Customer Call Center telephone number 226-2600 or Public Relations Unit telephone number 225-1471.
Thank you very much and welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. Let me get right down into it, and I'm going to pass the mic over, but not without asking this question, because one of our viewers, listeners, they've texted us, and this is what they say. Name change for a meter, not a new meter. Just to change the name for John Doe to Jane Doe, they told me it's $25,000. They treat the matter as if you apply for a new meter. Over to you, Xavier Sears.
I'll have
Oh.
Wayne address.
Okay, Mr. Watson, Wayne Watson, go right ahead. Sir.
The reason why that there will be a fee for a name change if the customer who is requesting that change is not the previous name on the account. So that will be treated as actually a new application, right? What we'll call COT, or change of tenancy, meaning that I moved out and you, Mr. Gildarie, will go in the property. You're required to do what we call a COT. So that is practically like a new installation, new process. So that is why there's a cost attached to it.
Thank you very much for that. And over to you, Xavier. A gentleman from Berbice raised the issue of confidentiality and GPL. Can't trust GPL here. Your thoughts on maybe how GPL is dealing with this issue, because I know for a fact that it's not only GPL, you have GWI and so on. You just ain't calling nobody because some man, that man and his boss man, all right, if I call and I tell a boss man, Gildarie, they can come back and they can target me. Over to you, Sheffield.
Excellent. Actually, thanks. I'm happy for the gentleman who called in. Feedback is very good, and that's how we're able to improve our services to you. Now, with regard to confidentiality, I believe we would have been committed to keeping the person who's reporting the information to us, their information, confidential. And I could attest to that for several reports, not only myself received, but colleagues. And what we would normally do, we forward the information to loss reduction. That's through Mr. Williams' department. But we don't normally put the person's name who reported it to us. And for the last week, you know, Leonard, we've been getting a lot of electricity theft reports. I forward those reports to Leon's department, but I did not say who gave them to me. I gave the report, the address for the person who is, until proven right.
Uh-huh.
The address for the report and all the other information regarding or surrounding that theft report, but not the person's information who made the report. So we try to keep it confidential, even as in the department. So departments, sections, unit, divisions may receive report. We forward that information to Leon's department, but we do not say, well, Tom Jones said Harry Potter is stealing electricity. You just forward the information surrounding the theft.
Thank you very much for that. And you tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show right here.
Before you move on, I have two more I want to just with regarding that caller's thing. He spoke about if we're gonna stick to the traditional way of how we do things. Yes, because we are cognizant that not everybody is IT savvy. And so not everybody will be able to go online. And even if you are, maybe you don't have the access.
Right.
And so GPL is cognizant of that, and our customer services division, they're working assiduously to look at all of the different fronts. So we'll maintain our traditional, we call brick and mortar. So we maintain our offices, but we still are trying to ensure we put all the necessary online business suite to allow persons who are overseas or who are more inclined to using the IT method to get access. So we're looking at all of our customers, and we're going to maintain our brick and mortar for our senior citizens and even persons who are unable to access our online platforms. He also spoke about if we are aware that some of our staff may be colluding with customers. We are aware, and anytime it's reported, we take the necessary actions. And finally, on reporting illegalities, we would say to our customers, do not collude with our staff to do illegalities. Don't do it. If you have 10 bills to pay, You have $5, budget for that 10 bill. Don't go outside and try to do illegal stuff. So we encouraging you because it will be to your detriment. And let me say why. Let's say Wayne find out somebody is stealing electricity, or Leon, through diversion. When we go and we back bill you, then you have to pay a bill of $1 million odd. How are you going to pay it? We have to put you now on a plan to pay that bill. So before you go through that whole thing of stealing, just come and pay and get on board legally.
Right. And so there you have it. Here's a question for maybe the two gentlemen. Can you confirm that all local business places, and this coming from the US, can you confirm that all local business places, including restaurants, are paying the share of electricity bills? Because it was mentioned in the past that several restaurants did not pay their bill in excess of millions. Do we have a problem there?
Is it a case where if it's a case where those entities are diverting power? We have numbers of engagement ongoing. Also, as a result of the pandemic, there were some, as the PRO stated, there was some relaxation in how we aggressively engage in having our customer pay bill, and that is why GPL would have reduced their normal customer service type of activity and dedicate this week specially for payment. So it's a concession that the company would have taken based on the COVID situation, but it's a concession where we expect also the customer to know that they have a responsibility, a national responsibility and a moral responsibility to pay the bills. So yes, there are some outstanding payments, and the company is currently during this week and will go on further to ensure that all outstanding payments are made.
Thank you very much for that. And you're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. We have with us senior officials of the Guyana Power and Light Inc. And we're talking about metering, we're talking about electricity theft. And of course, you could raise any other issue that's related to GPL right here, because, we would have had complaints in the past and they've made themselves available. So we could be able to, understand that the GPL wants to, at least that the pressure is on them to change the perception of how consumers are looking at them. Here's a question again. Good afternoon. Can I have a number to make a complaint for GPL about stealing electricity? Let them come to Diamond Third Bridge, a set stealing. Diamond Third Bridge. I'm not sure if the Diamond Third Bridge would be in the Grove section. Please ask Leon for a number to get to him. Thieving too much where I'm living. What's the number there? They want to
225-5251. That's the line for electricity theft. 225-5251.
All right. So we go down again. Let's see what happened. Good afternoon, guys. Merry Christmas. It's time for you, Josh, to share some gift. I think this would have happened. Big up. This is Sapna from Bellevue. Good afternoon, guys. Any disconnection in the month of December? Keep up the good work.
Usually, if I may, we don't disconnect in December. The company would have been given that kind of support to the general citizenry to allow, because we know it's the festive season and everybody's trying to stretch their dollars to do different things. So usually, year-round, GPL do not disconnect in December month.
So there you have it. It's a Christmas bonus for you guys. Good afternoon, sir. Enjoy the program every day and for enlightening the Guyanese nation. I just want to ask you if you can find out about where in the writing you have a dress code for hire car or minibus. Please, I don't know about it. Please and thank you. There was some moves on it and a couple of others as long as you were seated under the umbrella of, I think, the union. But I could probably ask and try to get some details on that. Thank you very much for asking that question. Remind me. I'm going to get it for you. Let me see here. Do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You're here. Go right ahead.
Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon, sir, to you and your panel.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. I have a bill here in front of me. I would ask the panel if the energy charges, I pay 66.33 at 109. You get $7,230. They have a fixed charge of $2,467. What percentage of the value of $72.30 is the fixed charge? And the fuel rebate, they give you a credit of 10.85. What percentage of your total cost is the fuel rebate? And on the bill, I doesn't see that the 40% VAT on the bill. So which one of them is the fixed charge or the fuel rebate is the VAT?
Could I ask them? I'm not sure if you guys want to do it or
We
maybe.
don't want to do it. Let's get his information and we'll check
Could
it out.
could we get a number for you or something?
And another thing.
Yes.
From April to the October the 5th, they said that we will get in a rebate from the tax, the 40% tax. The government said that. How early they would be getting that rebate?
Let's talk to him. Take his number. Can I have your number, Uncle?
220-4345.
04345. Okay.
Another thing, this is not for GPL, it's for Guyana.
Yes.
I spoke to you this morning in relation to Guyana and the meter that they have.
Mm.
Now, when I spoke to one by Ms. Ward from head office, he told me that the conversion of the cubic meter, 1 cubic meter of water is equivalent to 220 gallons of water. So every 2 cubic meter of water that coming through that meter is 1 black tank of water.
Mm-hmm.
The government said that they will give the pensioners them 5 black tank of water, which is equivalent to 10 cubic meter of water. I have a bill in front of me of 21 units used in October, and the latest one is November, which is 28 units used. Now, when you do the conversion, I have a family of 3, myself, my wife, and daughter. When you put that together, it's 15 and a half black tank of water. I can't use the water when the month comes. When you line 15 black tank of water, you can see how much water is that.
I hear what you're saying, and I did indicate to you I would love
to get Guyana to come on your program like how GPL is doing it.
Well, let me tell you something. I asked Guyana, and I did complain to the Minister, Colin Crowell. Guyana says that you need to call the Public Relations Department and make a complaint there. In fact, it says that nobody's calling them. But I'm doing a public...
They're answering the phone.
Well, I don't know what to say to you because they don't want to come on the program. They said that,
now the government said that the pensioners, their free water will be effective from 5th October 2020.
All right, you need to call them. Here what you're going to do. Here you're going to do for my brother.
From January.
Here what you're going to do for me. I understand what you're saying there. GWI, I don't know what to say because I've gone over this over and over again. You need to get on to them. They don't want to come in the program. I've already asked it to the minister.
As I told you this morning, I dropped a letter there to the minister, Colin Crowell. And you will get a copy sometime because I posted it out this morning.
All right. When I get it, I'm going to send it to them. I'm going to send it to them.
Let's pick up GPL there now. They must advise customer to, when they pay the bill, don't throw the bill away. Keep the bill and any query that you have. I had a problem years ago, and through the bill that I keep, I was able to convince GPL that the usage pattern that I had, they was billing me for more. So when over a year now, I collect all the data, and I put forward, and I get my credit from GPL. So people mustn't throw away the bill, keep the bill as an evidence. Okay? Y'all have a nice day, and then everybody enjoy the rest of the holiday.
Thank you very much. And when I get that letter, I'm going to address it, right?
And
I think they're going to call you. Thank you very much, dear sir.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
God bless. Bye. Low voltage in Elainsville report 2 months ago. Reference number 494. I think this matter came up last week. 494793. To date, no action. The people went to Elainsville, Providence last Thursday after this program. Without a meter to test how for low voltage problems hasn't been solved as yet. It appears it's a supply of power to the scheme that Lamumba owns. Labumba, I think this says the name is, not solved. So I'm not sure. I think the reference number is 494793. Thank you very much. Noted. GPL will handle this accordingly. Very quickly, let's see some others that are here. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. I'm in serious need of help now. I'm writing on behalf of the students and parents who've lost trust in the system, which is so corrupt. There's a small man trying to earn a living, has no justice at the hands of the powerful and rich people, and an apparent compromise director of public prosecution. I'm asking for your help in this matter in either highlighting the weaknesses in the case or offer any investigative assistance in whatever way possible, because we've lost faith in the police. Okay, I know this case here, and this matter has come up. I think it's been appealed. I'm gonna look at it though. I'm gonna look into this matter here. In fact, let me just make sure. Okay, do we have another caller in the air in the meantime? Yes. Good afternoon, caller in the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to your panel.
Yes,
I was
sir.
stopping this Williams there telling.
Hello. Did we lose a call? Our apologies there. Our apologies there. Let's go back. Try to call back because I think that gentleman has a question. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Guyana does not have a racial problem. We must stop emphasizing to the Guyanese people. It's the politicians who incite racism at elections, and they're the ones who has put themselves in order. They're the ones at the ERC who has to work, and that's simple as that. The ERC is a toothless poodle that needs to be reformed. The only solution to GPL is for the generation system to be privatized. GPL can maintain its control of distribution. That's the only solution. It's the absence of an alternative source. It's proven that state ownership has failed, like in so many areas. Well, these are not the policy for folks here. I don't know if they can handle that. We're talking specifically here about the metering section. If they want to privatize it, I think that should be a policy that the government would probably have to take, or at the board level. Hi, good afternoon, Uncle Leonard. Have a good afternoon. Some very kind person. Kind hearts are a garden. Kind words are the root. Kind words are the flowers. Kind deeds are the fruits. Take care of a garden and keep out all the weed. Fill it with sunshine. Kind words and kind deeds. We tuned into the program. Thank you very much, my dear, whoever that is. I'm not sure what that is. Do we have a call in the air? Good afternoon, call you in the air. Hello? Hello?
Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, it is. You on the air. Could you turn your phone, your radio down, please?
Good afternoon, Skipper.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Now, if GPL want to know who thief in current, let it check everybody who work with them. The son, the daughter, the family, all them thief in current. Simple as that. Because I live among some of them, we can't say nothing.
What have you done about it?
Man, I've seen it every day. Everybody that's working with GPL, even current.
What is stopping you? I want to ask you this, because this issue came up just now.
Bye.
No, hold on. Hear the question that I'm asking you. What is stopping you anonymously for calling GPL and telling GPL lot 356, Diamond?
GPL is very lying. When you call them and say, hold on, your call is very important to us, and they never answer. Next thing, call them at the next hour. The workers don't know. Call them is one. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. There's a question on the table here, or there's a statement on the table. Over to you, lady and gentlemen.
If I may attempt to answer the question, I am not aware that when persons report that GPL staff are involved in any illegal activity, that management has not been taking any step. I know that based on my understanding, once there's a report, there will be an investigation, right? And I will encourage anybody that once you have information, credible information and also you have evidence to support those claims, you should call. If you call the 2255251 number and you're getting difficulties, I'm quite certain a call to the CEO office or the DCO's office or the director's office, those are higher level of management, and I can assure you that those individuals will not take those reports lightly. So I'm encouraged all Guyanese, once you have a report to make, you don't need to give your name and describe who you are. Just give the information so that we can have a better Guyana.
And let me say this, I must say, as a citizen of Guyana, as a media person, and as somebody who has absolutely no connection with GPL, I must say that I admire the courage that GPL has to turn up and take these questions. For a very long time, there seemed to have been a culture. GPL once has indicated they don't want to change it. In fact, before on Wednesday, I forgot that GPL is coming, so Shavion would be on the phone. Well, you know, we coming today, and we sending 3 people, and I'm going to come too. So it means that there is a change in the way we do things, or we have been doing things over the year. And I must say, as somebody who sits, who criticizes things, and who points out our weaknesses, or so, this is very good when it comes to from our state-owned company, the attitude and the posture of this particular company, because people have been complaining. And GPL, I must tell you, in the whole scheme of things, when PUC would have been reporting every year, GPL and GT&T would have been coming up as the top companies, the utility companies, obviously, for the most numbers of complaints. And I think GPL has dropped back a little. GT&T is the one now that is leading the pack up for obvious reasons. And they have been engaging the people, but it is a good thing, I must say that. Do we have another caller online? Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Go right ahead. You're on the air.
Sir, I'm calling concerning a capital contribution letter.
Capital? A what?
A capital contribution letter.
Uh-huh.
I paid for a meter on the 16th of July. However, when the GPL staff come to do the connection, they say that I have to pay for extra wire and probably possible a post. However, on the 28th of October, I received a capital contribution letter, and it said that I have to pay $141,000 more. Sir, I really cannot afford that amount. However, I have my neighbor, his name is Michael Ramalho, and he paid for his meter in October. And when the GPL staff come to do his connection, they say the same thing to him too. Eventually, we both end up going to the Chesney GPL office, and they advise both of us that we can join and make the payment. However, he did not receive his letter as yet, so I'm just asking if there is someone there that could just kindly assist. So let him have his letter so that we could, make the payment and have our connection for the holiday season.
Absolutely. I think that's something very workable, and I think the GPL would want to help something like that. Is there a number or something that they could get you back on?
Yes, sir. The number is 614-0278.
614-0278.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your name, ma'am? Just your first name is good.
Shakuntala Ramnarine.
Okay, Shakuntala Ramnarine. Beautiful name.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think
you.
GPL is going to get hold of you, all right?
Okay,
and if I don't talk back to you, where are you calling from, you said?
I'm calling from Topu, sir, in the quarantine area.
All right, my dear. Thank you very much. If you don't talk back, enjoy the season, your Christmas, and a Happy New Year to you.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear. Good day to the folks down there in East Bobis. And it's not because I like East Bobis and like Black Bush Polder, but they're wonderful people. Really cook on the fireside good. I want to say good day to the Essequibo Coast people as well as Londoners. What is it that you're doing today? And those many truck drivers and minibus drivers and so on. Take care, stay on the road, make sure that you're wearing your mask. I'm still seeing many evidence of people not taking care, and they're doing things in a very cavalier manner. We are going to take a quick break right now. Do not touch those dials, and we're going to be back with you in a very short while. More questions, more comments, more calls.
This is a GPL public advisory. Main Street Commercial Office only accepting payment transactions. From Monday, December 14th, 2020 to Friday, December 18th, 2020, our Main Street office will only be accepting payment transactions and prepaid token purchases. No walk-in queries will be done. Business will resume as normal on Monday, December 21st, 2020. Our customers are therefore encouraged to use one of our commercial offices or payment agents closest to you. Bill Express, SurePay, Guyana Post Office, commercial banks, Scotiabank, Republic Bank Guyana Limited, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, Demerara Bank, Citizens Bank, and Mobile Money Guyana. GPL regrets any inconvenience this change in operation may cause. However, we remain committed to continuously improving the quality of services offered to our customers. For more information and assistance, call the Customer Call Center telephone number 226-2600 or Public Relations Unit telephone number 225-1471.
Imagine up to $500,000 cash in your hand. Shop at Singer from now to December 21 and win your share of $2 million. Spend $20,000 or more and be one of 4 winners of $250,000 each. Plus, 2 lucky shoppers will each win $500,000. Get cash in your hand for the Christmas at Singer. With 6 months, no interest, and up to 36 months to pay. Singer at home worldwide.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. And we do happen to have some questions right now. We have in the studio today some senior officials from GPL. We have Wayne Watson and Leon Williams, and they're both from a very key department, one from the metering section and the other one, if you're stealing electricity. Leon Williams, he's the man who's making sure that GPL, there's a reduction in the incidents with regards to that. We also have Chevion Sears from the Customer Service Department. The Public Relations Department. I keep thinking customer service because, there's an area very important. Hi, Mr. Gildarie. I'm reading some comments, texts that are sent to us right now. Hi, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon. Listening to a program with GPL. Let me say that the caller was talking about current stealing and confidentiality. It's true. In Guyana, somebody always knows somebody. But what I say is that the same people who are sent to do this connection by GPL authority are the ones who take the bribe and do not disconnect and put the current stealers on the lookout for these onwards. So if the disconnect crew has the information on who they report, it's a possibility that the stealers can be told it is who made the report. Well, Chevion would have made it very clear that whenever the complaints would have come to her department, she just passed it on without saying who made the complaint. And so I think there's some mechanisms that GPL put in there. But I think you guys are on guard right now, what it is. The people are very much aware of what's happening, and maybe there's a big reason why people don't report. But GPL says it's very cognizant in that, and they are taking, because I'm going to pay very close attention. I don't want anybody, I'm making a complaint and somebody is leaking it out. That's why people are not going to complain. But they see what is happening because they live in and they know. Good afternoon, Leonard. I've sent you a few videos in regard to Charity River Dam in Region 2. Please send a report to cover the situation. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, dear. Good afternoon, guys. Will smart meters be countrywide? I think the question that they want to ask here, will smart meters be rolled out countrywide? I think there's a major program is ongoing. I think Mr. Watson or somebody could be telling us a little bit that under the POP program and so on. Yes.
We are currently doing the installation in phases. You had the POP A, about 19,000 were installed, and GPL would have installed about 15,000. Currently you have the POP B is ongoing, and we are in the process of procuring more meters. So yes, the ultimate objective is to get those meters installed throughout the Demerara interconnected system. Now the reason for that is that the meter give the option of a customer can switch between being a postpaid customer or a prepaid customer with the 1 meter. So that is some of the other benefits of us going that direction.
Thank you very much, dear. That's Mr. Wayne Watson of the metering service manager of GPL. A question for you, gentlemen, lady. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I'd like to ask GPL that my parents died and I want the meter to transfer to my name. What is it that is required to be done?
If I can answer that, all that person need to do is, if they're not the power of attorney of the property, they can get a letter from the power of attorney along with the death certificate of the person who would have deceased, with a certificate of inspection, what we call COI from the Guyana Electrical Inspectorate, and you approach any one of the nearest customer service offices and make your request known.
Well, let me ask a question. I think that this is what the person really want to ask. Somebody just died and they need to transfer it. You got to wait until you actually have some kind of authorization, either by a power attorney of that person, of the executrix or something. You must have some kind of authorization.
Yes, you must have something to show that you're authorized to do that transaction.
And I think that is the whole point there. Very quickly, hi, good afternoon, Leonard. Do you have a hotline number for noise nuisance? No, I don't happen to have that, but you could. I'll have to get that for you. Thank you very much. But your police officers within your area should be able to do something about that. Do we have a caller on here? Good afternoon, caller. You're on here. Go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I talk to Miss Gildarie?
Yes, you're on to Gildarie. You're on to the Wake Up Guyana show. You're live.
Okay, sir. Let me first congratulate you on the good work you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Because you are as candid as ever.
Scandalous or candid?
Candid.
Oh, okay. I'm not. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. I'm just kidding you.
Yes, two things I want to call you. I'm calling way up into Mary area.
Yes.
I am about 63 years of age. I went into NIS 2 years back. They told me my contribution haven't met the required figure.
Yeah.
But yet still, and they they give me a grant. But yet still, I work with the region, and they are still deducting NIS from me every month. So I want to know what's the age, the cutoff point in terms of when NIS normally take out. When NIS take out the contribution from you, and what can I do to retrieve back that money since that I didn't make the contribution, they're still taking out, and they gave me a grant already.
All right, I would answer two ways.
Yeah.
One, as long you're working, the employer obligated to pay NIS. That's how I understand it. The second thing is, with regards to the recovery, I have absolutely no idea of that. I could give you a number that you could call them right away. They always answer that phone whenever I call. It's a cell number, and it's in the office of the general manager, Holly. Could I give that number to you?
Yes, I'm here.
6400 639.
6400 639.
639 6400 639.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Secondly,
yes.
just a minute. Secondly, the grant that the government is sharing.
The 25,000 cash grant? Yes.
They have stopped up to Tuesday, and COVID and poor. Nobody's paying attention to the community here.
No, they have to come to every community. I think it's not just a matter of if they're gonna come. It's not a question of that. Is they have to come to that area there. So I rather presume they have a particular pattern in which they're doing it. So I think they haven't, because of security reasons, been advertising where they're going and so on, because it's cash they're dealing with. And we don't know how to ask them either. They've been very consistent, but they're going to every area. I think it's just a matter of days or so.
Okay.
All right?
Okay then.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the season if you don't talk
thanks,
again.
thanks. All
yes.
right.
Bye-bye. So very quickly, let me see. Receiving a lot of things. Good afternoon, sorry. In Little Diamond Squatting area, there's low voltage. Little Diamond Squatting area. There's low voltage due to the people welding all the time, damaging people's fridge. Please let the GPL address this matter. This is the phone number here. I'm going to give it to GPL. In the meantime, very quickly, we have just about 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes to remain, and we won't take as much calls as possible. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Is this Wake Up Guyana show?
Yes, it is. And could you lower your volume on your radio? Just do that and we get right into things.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, sir.
I'll be nice.
Yes, sir.
GPL is a big thieving company.
They steal or people steal from them?
They rob people.
Okay.
And how they do it? One way in which I do know is that I had once had a faulty meter for 10 months. And when I reported it long before the 10 months, they said that after being confronted that so here was happening, GPL has a law that when these situations happen, they only could waiver 6 months of the 10 months. I say, well, which law was that, or is it a policy? I don't think no company could make law. They could make policy. And if the policy is, if a meter is malfunctioning and it is out 10 months, I could only waive 6 months. Who paying for the other 4 months?
But where do you draw the line? Now, I got to ask you a question here. This me being the layman asking. Where do you draw the line? Could you go back? Let's say that you now report it. It's been happening for 3 years. You now report it. Should you go back? Is it reasonable? I'm just asking as a layman here. Is it reasonable to go back to the 3 years for you to get back those rebates, or could we put a cutoff time somewhere? Is it reasonable to ask that?
First of all, I've been behind GPL when I realized this thing was happening. Over and over, and they never came till 10 months after and changed out the meter. When I confronted them, this is what I'm saying, within that 10 months, over and over, I was told that they could only waiver 6 months of the 10 months the meter was malfunctioning. So who paying the other 4 months? Now this is the thing. If my meter malfunctioning for 10 months, isn't it 10 months they're supposed to waiver? Because it's not like I messing with the meter or I bringing in the power or whatever. The meter is messed up for 10 months. You change out the meter and you put on another one. And that is another problem with GPL. They come and they would investigate, and they have no tools, no replacement, nothing. They just come and they see and go away, give you a paper saying immediate change out, faulty meter, and immediate change out, and they don't come back till Janam.
Is it a matter that you want GPL to get onto you, or you just want to raise this issue?
This is a matter that happened that I have experienced. That's why I could make the allegation that GPL is a big thieving company.
Right.
Second thing is, I believe that if GPL wants to collect their money from people, don't target the small man. There are big people around the place who owe billions. Like one caller mentioned the restaurants just now. I remember that story. Until now, there was never a resolve where GPL claimed they collect the money. They got DDL who owe so much. They got the City Hall. Name them. They got a lot of stupid people around the place who believe they got friends with GPL and the government, yet in free current. Collect from them or stop it from them, and then they will collect what we would say efficient collection, and it wouldn't be 15% and all them kind of big percent with the calling they're losing. It's they who losing the money themselves, not necessarily people thieving current. It's GPL with their ineffective collection that is losing money.
All right.
Thing is, this smart meter thing, I want you to ask the panel, just so that I could quote correctly, which is the country that gives them the grant?
All right, no problem. We can do that.
Okay, so let me just call a country X, because you don't want to ask the panel. But there was a donation, it's a grant from a certain country that has been given to GPL with a smart meter business. I am suggesting that that country that gave that grant is assisting in skullduggery, where they are assisting GPL to stay as a monopoly. And in this country, we do not need monopolies, because what happens is GPL will just walk up to people's place in the night like a Nazi, Gestapo, do what they gotta do, and be gone. Next thing you know, you come home, you're in darkness. All I'm saying is, we don't need a monopoly. Look what happened to GT&T. We don't need a monopoly. And now GT&T getting competition, we getting better product from Digicel, etc. That is what we need. The country that gave these people, GPL, this grant is assisting with nonsense, because GPL needs competition. GPL don't need to be the only company in this country that is supplying us with power.
All right,
that
thank
is
you.
A
All right,
very big bad problem.
Thank you very much for that, caller, and I think you have raised some concern that you would have affected you there, and I'm sure that they would have heard the questions that are being asked here. I'm going to pass it over to them in a very short while. Thank you very much. If you don't talk back, enjoy your season, all right?
You enjoy the season too, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you very much, sir. Before I hand it over, here's a comment from Derek, all the way from the US. GPL, congratulations on your 608-8575 number for WhatsApp. Where do we submit our megawatts reading and email to us? It worked excellently for my family who live overseas. Looking forward to the online payments. Keep up the good work. Maybe I could pass it over to you, starting Chevion, then we could talk to Leon Williams and then Mr. Wayne Watson, and then we come back and take some calls very, very quickly. And unfortunately, we winding down too.
All right, great. So, great feedback. I was listening, and a lot of things that the two last callers called about. It's concerns of us as well as a company, and even as a staff of GPL. And so we're consistently meeting, revising our strategies, discussing and ventilating and trying to see how we could come up with plausible initiatives to address most of these issues. Well, we deliberated a lot on electricity theft and reports and so forth. Regarding collection, GPL is a business, and just like any other business, we have to collect our revenues. So we're not sitting there twiddling our thumbs thinking, oh, let any consumer, whether big or small, get away with owing us. We have strategies in place to address and to call. Some people, because of COVID, we can't just go out and do different we call meet and greet kind of activities. But we're doing online activities. I know right now we have the key accounts manager, and she's calling up companies and saying, listen, you have an outstanding balance. This is the amount. We're offering you a payment plan. And so we are affording you the opportunity to pay part, just like courts or a bank or any other thing. So we have strategies in place which we're using to collect our revenues. Yes, people think out there that we're discriminating and we're attacking the small man and not the big companies, but we are in discussions with the big companies, and they know that they have to pay. We allow them grace periods, and also we afford them the opportunity of getting on a payment plan. So there's no discrimination against whether you're small or large or in between. Everybody has to pay the bills, and we're taking the necessary steps. Regarding the smart meters, I'll let Wayne discuss that.
Thank you very much, dear Chevion. Says over to you, Mr. Wayne Watson. He's a metering service manager.
The smart meter will be beneficial for both customer and company. We are heading in an age where internet access, software related operations they are going at a rapid pace, and we have to, if we want to be a part of the world, we have to go with developments. The concept of smart meter, in more effort will be placed on sensitizing the wider consumer base. At the moment, we are just installing those meters as normal postpaid meters until we have the quantity to roll out the network. I can assure callers that smart meters are not donations from any country. The plan to implement that project is a well thought out plan, and it's a international bank funded and also government funded activity. So it is not there for any hidden agenda or any hidden reason. It's just that the benefit of smart metering, as GPL thought it best, will aid us in all our activities and efficiency in terms of managing those activities, billing, meter reading, giving the customer option of being a prepaid meter customer or a postpaid meter customer. So and the customer can literally, when that time comes, go on to the account from wherever they are in the world, and they can check the meter consumption and also balances on the account. So the meter strategy for GPL will be beneficial at the end of the day for both company and customers.
Thank you very much for that. And of course, we have Mr. Leon Williams, and he is no other than the loss reduction manager at the GPL. That's a very big thing. Saying you're still in electricity. This is a man who's going to be managing that department here, and it's a very tough job because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's a hot seat there that he's basically sitting in. Mr. Williams.
Well, I would like to close by once again pointing out the implications of stealing electricity. It has severe economic impact on the company as well as the country as a whole. And secondly, it also is a safety issue, serious public safety issue, in that it can result in loss of life and properties. And it is suspected, because we don't really have full evidence, that some of the fires that we had on buildings were as a result of electricity theft. And we all know for a fact that there are a number of deaths that we had due to electricity theft, and there are many instances where children were involved, and I see that as a very, very serious issue. And on that point, I would ask that persons desist from stealing electricity.
So I thank you very much, dear. And so we have 3 senior officials within the Guyana Power and Light. They've been coming here weekly now. We would have had today as our guest Wayne Watson, the metering service manager there, Leon Williams, loss reduction manager, and of course, as always, Chavion Sears, and she is from the public relations department of the state-owned Guyana Power and Light. And we try, as we talk about customer service, lifting the standards in Guyana. GPL has been looking to revamp its image, taking a bad beat in the last couple of years, and they have been looking how to do it. Why did they here taking actual hands-on approach, taking the bull by the horns, if you will. Very quickly, maybe we could look at some other comments. Good afternoon, Leonard. I have a GPL post in front of me. It's so rotten that you could see through and through. I reported it took 2 years to change it, and left it just like that. It can fall at any time. And to let you know that the head of GPL for Garden of Eden lives a few houses away from me and does nothing. I've given them this number here, and so we are think they are going to look into it. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Leonard. I have lots of problems with the NDC in Guyana. Could you please help me? I'd like to talk to you in person. I could call you. Let me know. You call through the switchboard and let us have a chat about it sometime or the other. Maybe after 5 o'clock today. Good afternoon, Gildarie. Thank you for doing an awesome job. With blackout 2 to 3 times a day when the electrical appliance damage, will GPL replace our items? I think when we come back next week, we could talk about that, how do you go about filing a claim with GPL? How long does that process take? And is there any kind of limitations to what you can claim? Maybe these are some of the issues that we could raise when we come back, because we're almost out of time right now. The GPL PRO, Public Relations Officer, is very informed. I'm impressed. I hope she goes a very far way in her career. I hope that she gives me some of her salary too. There's me talking there. Hi, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? You have any idea what is the matter with the number for the Georgetown Hospital, please, and have a blessed day? Have absolutely no idea. This is the first time that I'm hearing about that. So unfortunately, as usual, every single day we come down to that time of the day when we have to say goodbye, when we have to say, you have a pleasant rest of the day. This has been the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. We would have been coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio right here in Charlestown, Georgetown, on 99.1 in Essequibo and Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it would have been 99.5. If you missed this show here, you could get it back on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. Like I said before, it is a very sad time for me whenever I have to say goodbye as we wind down It's a good thing, interacting with you, and whatever it is that you would have been doing. It is Christmas time, it is seasons time, and within just about we have it's December the 16th, 9 days more before Christmas Day. But in the meantime, every day it's Christmas. So you just have to make sure that we do what comes naturally to us every season. That is to have a ball, have a blast, but do it. Make sure that you protect yourself, wear your mask, make sure that you sanitize, keep your social distance, and if you have to travel public transportation, make sure that you are wearing your mask. And whatever it is that you're doing, think about your children, think about the vulnerable ones in society, and more importantly, for me and the folks down at the radio station here, if you're more fortunate and you can help somebody in need for this Christmas, let's rise above the fray. Let's ensure that we do what we have to do to make this world a better place. I will be seeing you same place, same time tomorrow. In the meantime, have a safe day, you and your family and your loved ones, wherever you are. Take care.